So today's lineup, let's have the content, the introduction or defining the brain-machine interfacing and or brain-computer interfacing, and we will distinguish between these two and the related disciplines. Once, if you want to gather more knowledge, what are the keywords you need to employ when you are doing a Google search. So I'll list down kind of a list of keywords and let's see what is possible with brain-machine interfacing or brain-computer interfacing. That means in order we need to have a deep understanding, at least a sound understanding regarding the regional brain activity or the electrical activity of the human brain. Then that is means the neuroscience and the key steps involved in the process of the signal processing and decision making with regard to brain-machine interfacing and the neural signal acquisition. That means signal acquisition, how we are recording these EEG or what we call the electrical impulses available on the scalp of the human brain or the surface of the brain, and how we acquire, how we collect, how we measure these sensitive information and convert them into digital or binary information, and how we are going to make decisions on these processed data of these what we call the brain signals or brain waves. So this is EEG or electroencephalography is one of the data acquisition technique. Non-invasive, we will have a look what is an invasive data collection, data acquisition strategy, or the non-invasive. So significance of these EEG data classification algorithms, that means what are the computational algorithms we can apply in order to classify or for the pattern recognition of these brainwave signals. Or our main topic, emerging trends in brain-machine interfacing or brain-computer interfacing. And the second phase of the presentation is reserved for talking about this neurorobotics and emerging trend in these robotics, as well as a kind of a combination of neuroscience and robotics, a new emerging field in biomedical engineering as well as in robotics. And what are the major research areas, or again a list of keywording under this topic neurorobotics. And we will identify again the emerging trends in neurorobotics. Earlier that was the emerging trends in brain-machine interfacing. So we will discuss separately what are the emerging trends coming under neurorobotics and what are the possible social and ethical issues in near future as a result of the advancement, technological advancement in these two disciplines, brain-machine interfacing and neurorobotics. So here's a kind of a funny cartoon. The kind of give you kind of a layman level or very basic level understanding about what is brain-machine interfacing. So the son is asking the question from his father, Dad, what's brain-machine interfacing? Or what's a brain-machine interface? So the father replies at a layman level, or as an ordinary person, that means the community's opinion, the ordinary community's opinion. So he replies, the brain-machine machine interfacing is nothing but once your brain is connected to the internet, that's all. So there is not something beyond that, something we need to have a better understanding or better definition regarding the brain-machine interfacing. So what is a typical brain-machine interface? Here's a formal definition. A brain-machine interface, or BMI, not body mass index. So in our context, BMI is brain-machine interface. It's a device or strategy or technology that translates, so that converts neural information, those are available in human brain in natural form, into commands. That means executable commands by a computer or an electronic device or mechanical device. Simply, a brain-machine interface should be capable enough of understanding the human intentions, human thoughts. So the brain waves or the kind of brain signals, biological signals. So as a result of these neural activity inside the human brain, the regional brain activity, very sensitive, very weak electrical impulses will be generated or will be available on the scalp. So there are some specific devices, special devices to capture, to grab these sensitive electrical impulses. So variations of these small electricity available on the scalp of the head or the surface of the head, skin of the head, and convert that sensitive information or these very fluctuations, that means very sensitive, that can be in nanovolts. The variations can be available in nanovolts. Very weak, those a brain machine interface system that will convert that small or very sensitive electrical impulses, so electrical signals or variations into computer understandable form, or convert that into them into control instructions. That means those control instructions will be utilized to control a computer. For an example, access to computer, you can simulate the functionality of a typical input device such as a computer mouse. So once you convert these intentions, once you have this special device called EEG headset, once you wear it, that can sense your intentions, your thinking pattern, that can record those signals or brainwave signals, what we call, then pass them to through using a special device, a signal converter, that means a signal acquisition device. So we call amplifiers. Then we have to purify them, we have to filter them using these band pass filters and apply many software and hardware filters. Then we can improve the quality of the signals. Then we can analyze them, we can keep analyze them, we can recognize the patterns. There are some special patterns, there are signals. So there are specific patterns recognized by the research. Internal composition or the anatomy of this technology, or what we call the key. I will just introduce the key steps or the key milestone or during the processing, information processing. Other than I'm not in a position to explain the everything happening at the signal processing level. So these control instructions, that means once we recognize the patterns and once we convert them into control instructions, those can be utilized, those can be used to control a computer or a machine, like a drone, like a vehicle, like these are what we call the prosthetic arms, or the robotic arms, or manipulator arm, or a wheelchair. That can be anything, any machine. So simply my PhD, my research was to simulate or emulate the functionality of a computer mouse, including this scroll and all the right click function, the scroll function, and the mouse scroll button press function, drag function, and my objective was to develop kind of a comprehensive environment to comprehensive brain computer interface. I will come to that topic later. That will emulate the functionality of the computer mouse, that where once I implemented without a computer mouse, or without using your both hands, without using either hands, the user, the BCA user, brain computer interface user, who is wearing that special device called the EEG headset on his head, will be able to control the mouse position and do anything what you do with your usual typical mouse. Right click, drag, select items, move the mouse cursor, or scroll down or scroll up, mouse wheel press. Every command that you can simulate, that you can do whatever the things what you do with a typical physical mouse without. So you can the brain computer interface can entirely replace the the thing called computer mouse, and just by thinking that you want to move the cursor, you want to click, you want to right click, just by thinking about that, you can activate the required or desired command. So that is the main idea. So since I started talking about the brain-computer interfacing, and the main topic is about the main brain-machine interfacing, so let's distinguish. Let's try to resolve the ambiguity. So what's the main difference? Key difference? So is that the same or two different things? So the brain-machine interfacing is the technology that we are supposed to learn today. That means once we recognize the brainwave patterns or the intentions, the desires of the human brain, of the user, of whoever who are operating this system, or who is wearing the special device, and so brain machine interfacing is interfacing the human brain with the physical machine, like a prosthetic arm, wheelchair, something like that. Brain-computer interfacing is a subdomain of this research discipline. It's all about controlling a computer. That means, as I explained you can emulate the functionality of a mouse, keyboard, or joystick that is used in computer gaming. Or you can control these devices with your thoughts, with your thinking, or what we call the mind-controlled computer. You can implement the mind-controlled computer using, that means that doesn't have a physical mouse or keyboard. You could just have the screen. With your mental commands, you can control, you can access the software or whatever is installed, or you can browse internet, you can play games, you can listen music, whatever things you can do. You can do keyword searching. You can do with the mental commands, that what you call the brain-computer interfacing. So we will arrange a special session for to study the rationale or the technology behind that. So today is a different topic, emerging trends. So these are the related disciplines. So the disciplines are the philosophy where the original thoughts of human thinking and the thinking patterns and thinking what we call the school of thoughts, and so these how the brain functions, where the thoughts are originated. So these original concepts are borrowed from the field of philosophy and cognitive psychology. That is coming under another philosophical aspect. I'm not in a position to go into details. Again, signal processing. So once we acquire these human brainwave signals, so very weak electrical fluctuations, so we need to convert them into digital format, and we need to filter them, we need to apply, we need to improve them, we need to eliminate noises and outliers. So that is all about the signal processing, and highly mathematical oriented algorithms like Fourier transformation are applicable in order to purify, what we call the filter, or improve the quality of the signal. So that is a separate discipline. Signal processing coming under electronics engineering and electronics and telecommunication engineering. So for an example, so the brain wave, so there are so many signals, so that means so many signal waveforms are blended together. This alpha, beta, gamma, like radiation is mixed together, blended together. So we need to apply kind of a sophisticated mathematical algorithms like Fourier transformation to get separate to these different frequency spectrums. So again, I'm not in a position to go into details. So I can talk hours. So I can develop maybe more than 80 hours regarding this, my personal experience and the algorithms and the signal processing techniques and everything. So this is not the ideal place to do so. AI, of course, AI has a very strong bond between this brain-machine interfacing and other neurorobotics disciplines, because AI algorithms, especially AI machine learning algorithms, such as the convolutional neural networks, so what we call support vector machines or multi-agent systems. So the AI machine learning algorithms, those are called classification algorithms that we are using to classify recognized brainwave patterns. So the pattern recognition algorithms are we are borrowing from AI. So AI they are appearing under AI machine learning. So the artificial intelligence has that means brain machine interfacing has a very strong significant dependency, interdependency between artificial intelligence and machine learning. And mathematical modeling, again, we need to derive some mathematical models. We need to fit some mathematical models like Fourier transformation or any other models in order to recognize the patterns. Model fitting. And the neuroscience, neurology, neuroanatomy, and neuroimmunity. So this is another recently emerging trend, neuroimmunity. So neuroimmunity is kind of a medical domain subject or biological subject, but I'll let you know why we need this neuroimmunity. That means you understand the chemical, biochemical stimulations, or the biochemical reaction, or the changes in these hormone level concentrations and the chemical level different things, variations. Why we need to have a sound understanding. And augmented reality can be combined to have a better experience, and human cognitive augmentation, again, kind of a simulation of human cognition, or the kind of behavior modeling or psychological behavior modeling we can have. And finally, neurorobotics. Not finally, again, are related disciplines. So we can find tons of related disciplines, but these are the most related research disciplines. So we'll have a look what's possible with brain-machine interfacing or brain-computer interfacing. So the upper part is the usual, the biological process. The latter part, or the what we call the starting with this bypassing intermediate steps. So that is the usual routing of the brain-machine interfacing or brain-computer interfacing. So starting from basic decision making, like yes or no. For an example, so I have implemented a system to emulate the computer mouse function. So whether the intention is of the user to click the button or just leave it. So we can make that decision starting from simple decision making, so up to control of complex machinery or appliances or devices like wheelchairs or robotic prosthetic arms or robotic limbs, or even automobiles or vehicles. So there's the spectrum is very wide, very broad, the applications, I mean. So this is a regional brain activity, or what are the corresponding or the responsible regions of the brain for the corresponding or for specific task. So some part of the brain is responsible for recognizing the taste. Some are responsible for vision. Some are responsible for speech processing or hearing, understanding what you hear. And the somatic sensation, or that is sensation by to your tongue or your nose or your skin. So there are specific regions who hold the responsibility or the expertise, who has the which has the expertise of processing the external stimuli or the signals and make some decisions. So why we need to understand these regional brain activity? Because we need to place the electrodes, or there are some specific positions on the scalp of the human brain. That means on the skin of the head, there are specific positions that you can hold, that you can position these electrodes. That electrodes means the sensors. Okay. So according to this AP, American Psychological Association's involvement, so researchers have developed recognized these critical or crucial positions. So there are 108 scalp positions where you can place these sensors called EEG electrodes. So here are the key steps involved in the what we call the brain in a typical brain machine interface. So we can you have to position, you have to place some what we call sensors, core electrodes. So what we will come to know what are the technologies or sensor types. So then we can collect. We have to acquire the signals. We have to collect the signals, record the signals. Then we have to do these mathematical modeling and signal processing. First signal processing, then mathematical modeling for pattern recognition. Then we can control them into control signals where you can control either a computer or a machine. You can fine tune the, or you can improve the system by giving the feedback. You know the what we call the open loop systems. So you can see something and you can get the feedback, or you can generate brain waves to generate the control signals. So these are the major techniques used here in signal acquisition. So we have two. We have two approaches called invasive and non-invasive. In invasive, so surgically we insert some sensors. So we cut and open the scalp and we place some sensors inside the head, inside the brain, touching the brain. This is what we call the invasive. This is more accurate and this is more effective. And the signals coming from these sensors are very prominent. That means these are very clear and very easy to amplify and improve. We need to have, we can have quality signals, but there's a risk of operating these people, and there can be some infections, possible infections happen, and this is not possible to be done by a computing researcher. So you need to incorporate a medical person with medical expertise to implant these sensors. So this is the level of the skin that we insert the sensors in each distinguished technology. So the computing researchers are supposed to use these non-invasive techniques. Non-invasive means that means you are not drilling, you are not harming the. That means you don't insert the pins kind of what we call sensors inside the brain. Well, you are not punching the head or the scalp. You just place the using. You can stick them using the silver chloride like a special gel, or you can use these saline-based media, or that means the salt-like media, or you can just use dry sensors called dry electrodes. That means you just touch the skin. That's all. You position, you place the sensors on the scalp. That's all. And there are certain technologies for the non-invasive approaches. This EEG or electroencephalography, EEG, that is the common technique that you can easily use even without involvement of a medical doctor. And electrocardiography, COG, and these electrochemical immunosensor. That this is where the what we call the neuroimmunity. We need to study neuroimmunity. If you plan to implant a kind of a sensor inside the head, you need to understand these things, how MUA functions. So we are not in position to discuss approaches called invasive and intermediate layer in between non-invasive and invasive. So that is partially invasive. Some people recognize the electrocardiography, ECOG, as a partially invasive technique. And the invasive, that means the EEG or MEA or LFT. So these are the LFT means the local field potential, and EEG means electroencephalography. So these are the techniques. Anyhow, invasive techniques are more successful, more sensitive, and more accurate. But there's a risk incurred in that means with the infections, and there's an ethical issue. That means invasive techniques are not permitted for computing researchers. So that's for medical researchers. Now I select a specific technique called EEG, that is what we call a non-invasive technique. That means we don't need to harm, or we don't need to punch the scalp in order to access to the brain wave or the signals. So we can use these, what we call these sensors. We can place or position these sensors on the scalp using different techniques, using this kind of a special helmet kind of a thing. So I am going to now classify or categorize the EEG devices, electroencephalography devices. Those are to be worn by the user, BCI or BMI user, to capture the intentions. So there are two main categories: the consumer grade, or the what we call the that you can buy from the internet or from the stores without requiring any special permission. And these are less accurate. The accuracy is below 60%. That means we have different what we call models: NeuroSky, Mindwave, Interaction Muse 2, iMake, Emotives Insight, Emotives Epoch Plus, and these Open BCI like systems. These are less expensive. The price is affordable, but the accuracy is limited. The most accuracy device we have identified among these is the Emotives Epoch, which is approximately 60%. But if you can afford, you can spend more money, maybe $450 or something, sorry, $4,500 or something. So you can buy these research grade or medical grade very accurate devices. The accuracy or the precision is up to 98%. So you can buy these gold-plated G. Sahara active electrode. So what is active electrode? An active electrode is where the preamplifier is attached to the sensor itself. In these the consumer grade things models, the preamplifier is placed far away. As a result, so the external interference or noises can affect the quality of the signal. So what is happening once you place the preamplifier, once you attach the preamplifier very close to the sensor itself, this is what we call the active configuration, active electrode configuration. So the influence or the impact from the effect from the external interference is very low. Again, I'm moving away from the main focus, so I will come to the track. So as I explained you, so the AI machine learning algorithms as classification algorithms plays a significant role in pattern recognition of these brainwave signals. So there are so many AI machine learning algorithms like K-mean clustering, genetic algorithm, decision tree, for random forest. So I have not mentioned them, but these are the common techniques, the support vector machines and convolutional neural networks, so CNNs, or any other forms of neural networks like used in deep learning or reinforced learning, or any form of a neural network architecture, appropriate architecture we need to test. But according to our personal experience, research experience, CNNs performs better. CNN performs better, and support vector machines is somewhat easily implementable algorithm. And recently, according to our recent findings, the AI multi-agent system, so MAS, so that is another possible classification technique or strategy. That is also coming under AI, artificial intelligence. So here we come to the today's topic, the emerging trends in brain-machine interfacing or brain-computer interfacing. Here's a random list, so we can find, we can include, insert so many things, but just a few randomized things. Okay, just appear in this list: interactive movies, mind control gameplay, social media aspects, brain fingerprinting. That means you can use the brain-computer interfaces or brain-machine interfaces as a biometric device. That means you can access to internet, or you can access rather than just inserting or pressing the keypad on your ATM machine, automatic teller machine. You can use your brain signature or brain fingerprint to authenticate or access the corresponding device. That can be an ATM machine, or that can be a computer. That means you can replace the usual passwords or passcodes with your brain fingerprint. That means you can use this as a biometric device or strategy. And you can combine augmented reality like modern technologies for better user experience. And you can enhance the automobile technologies by integrating this impressive technology called brain-machine interfacing. And there are emerging trends like mind uploading, or making a copy, or taking a digital copy of your whole brain, something like that. Okay. I'm not going to stick or talk much regarding these classic applications for coming under education or traditional brain-computer interfaces, or healthcare applications or medical treatments. That means, for an example, you can design some mental exercises for the rapid recovery of mental disorders. I'm not going to use these traditional or classic applications. So I come to the first item of these under emerging trends. So interactive movies. So while you are watching a movie, so you can manipulate the story. That means there are certain positions you can take decisions. Once the story comes to a particular milestone or particular position, particular time span, so that will ask you which decision to be taken, the favorable decision. So, for an example, this you have seen this man who is surviving, who is living in the jungle and used to get survived using eating these animals alive. So, if you introduce this interactive movie concept to this movie industry or film industry, or if you are wearing this EEG headset, the special device, and you are thinking about this movie, and that device is connected to the your computer, whatever the media player, interactive media player, so you can decide what to happen. So you can you can ask this person to eat it, or just leave it, just drop it. So that means there should be recordings for your both decisions, so your multiple decision. That means we call that the movie comes to a kind of a decision point. Then you can determine, you are the one who is going to decide what to happen at the next step. For an example, there can be movies, you get an offer, the actor gets an offer. That means the offer is maybe having some negative impacts as well. That means that he needs to sacrifice or give up some things. That is what we call the opportunity cost in economics. So once he receives this grant, he will lose something. So it is up to the person who watched the movie to decide whether the actor or the role has to accept or deny the offer. Something like that. So interactive movies, but interactive movies can be operated even without this brain-computer interface or brain-machine interfaces, or without wearing these EEG devices. But with while you are watching, if you keep wearing this EEG headset, you can manipulate this according to your intentions, according to your desires, according to your personal favorations. That will be a very interactive and very effective, very novel experience. And I'm not going to talk about replacing the joystick-like input devices with mental commands. That means mind-controlled gameplay. That is because that is no longer a new concept. And recently, Facebook, like social media, they are talking. They started. They have initiated. They have begun talking about these integrating these brain computer interfaces for Facebook, like social media. That means once you wear the EG headset, you don't need to type. You need once you just think that I need to put a like, so the like will be marked or will be activated or will be uh, put on behalf of you. What you have to think, what you have to do is you have to just think. You have to just think that this should happen. Then that will happen. Okay. Brain fingerprinting. So other than you are using the brain as a kind of a signature or kind of a biometric device. So this is regarding the lie detection, which will facilitate for criminal investigation. So you can interview a witness or who is providing the evidences. So you can just interview a suspect, and you can examine the brainwave variations, the brainwave patterns. You can study the variation of the brainwave patterns, and you can check whether this person is telling the truth or he is trying to misguide you, or he's taking any attempt to tell lies, lie detection. You can integrate these another impressive technology course called augmented reality with brain computer interfacing to have better experience. For an example, you can integrate these biometrics. If you watch this movie Anon 2018, so this technology is explained there. So augmented reality, that means you can open a door with a digital door lock, and you can operate an elevator or lift, or you can launch the calculator application and press the buttons using the mental commands. So please watch this movie. Please download this Netflix movie released in 2018, and these how brain-machine interfacing is integrated this impressive technology. Augmented reality is very well explained there and demonstrated by this the concept movie. So the more concepts we can borrow from the same movie, science fiction movie Anon. So the memory recall. So you can use your own brain as a media player to playing the recall memory, or to simulate something, or to load some imaginary scenes. And you can just use the telephone. That means you don't need to have a physical telephone. You can just communicate to a different person, just making call by using a chip inside, which is implanted within your head. And you can start a chat like WhatsApp or what we call a chat space, and you can have these calculators, that application. You don't need computers, mobile phones, fax machines anymore. Everything is inside your brain. There can be some that means you need to have some chips installed in your head, but you can apply these software, or you can activate these access this hardware like elevators or lifts, or you can drive even vehicles just by thinking on that. So please watch this movie if you haven't watched so far. And another coming discipline is what we call these bidirectional brain-computer interfaces. That means you can influence someone else or your own thinking patterns. That means rather than just reading the mind, you can give some feedback. That means you can change the thoughts. So that is an emerging field again. And this thing called mind uploading. Mind uploading means you try to make exact copy of your entire brain, whole brain. Then the computer simulation can, so if it is connected to these web cameras and all these microphones, other things, so So that you can run kind of a simulation inside the computer. That means the brain will be active as it is, which is inside your biological body. So that means you can have sensations, you can have thoughts, you can have dreams, you can speak aloud, you can generate, you can have speech synthesis, you can have imaginary scenes, you can understand the things what you are watching, what you can understand what you hear, and you can have other sensations that those are captured from through the skin and other sensory devices. So that means kind of a living being inside the computer, kind of a artificial life inside the computer. So if you want to have more idea regarding this, what we call the emulated brain, or what we call the mind uploading and artificial life, so please download and watch these movies. So this Archive, released in 2020, it's a very great movie, Archive, and this Transcendence in 2014. So why I mention specifically regarding these science fictions, because these science fictions, they influence significantly for the betterment of the science, because most of the concepts we are going to implement are borrowed from these concepts introduced in these science fictions. So that should be there, because it is a very pathetic situation in Sri Lanka. So there are no science fiction movies. Due to that, there's no that science and technology has not become popular among the ordinary community or the general public. I repeat again, due to lack of shortage of these science fiction movies, locally produced movies, most movies are on the themes on the politics and these romantic stories and the ancient stories. Other than that, there are no science fiction movies in Sri Lanka. As a result, people have become more stupid. That means general community or ordinary public, they don't have any understanding or they don't develop any reputation about a scientist. They don't know who is a scientist, and they don't respect. I know I came to India in 2019, starting from the airport, Indira Gandhi Airport, what we call the immigration officer invited me to deliver an 8-minute speech regarding artificial intelligence robotics. Starting from there, even trishaw drivers, the taxi drivers, they are interested in this science, and they develop huge respect towards scientists or researchers. So it is very pathetic in Sri Lanka. Due to that weak point, or due to this vulnerable point, we don't have adequate science fiction novels or fabrications or any kind of industry. Due to that, scientists, Sri Lankan scientists or researchers they will not earn the due respect. But I am happy that India is more forward. India is more a huge step ahead Sri Lanka. So they have realized the significance of the scientists and the science fictions and the researchers. As a result, so the more science fictions are introduced or produced, science fiction movies, and the interest among the ordinary community or the general public with regard to the science, technology, and innovation or future aspects on, and the significance or the importance of the science people, scientists, or the researchers or the engineers. That is I need to really appreciate that significant the step taken by the Indian community. So we will talk about the future technologies as well. So telepathy. So right now we have an understanding about the telepathy. That's an ESP, what we call the extrasensory perception. What is extrasensory perception? Perception means what we perceive, what we sense, or what we see. Extrasensory means something spiritual. something not there's something supernatural or something spiritual. Spiritual means it's not artificial, it's a natural thing, okay? Like the God. But in with the technology, with the invention of or integration of this impressive technology, brain machine interfacing or brain computer interfacing, so the telepathy will be no longer and a kind of a spiritual thing, that will become a scientific thing, because we can implement the concepts existing in the telepathy with the technological integration that we use in BCI or BMI technology. For an example, here's my own imagination or own example that I am taking. Or in future, the expected mother or pregnant ladies will wear these lightweight what we call EEG headsets. Then the expected father, the husband of the expected mother, may feel the same feelings experienced by her wife, his wife. Okay, so they can have kind of a mutual understanding, better understanding. Okay, or a father can understand his kids, his daughter's feelings if both are wearing these kind of EEG headsets or any kind of technical devices. So here's a summary. I'm not in a position to explain you because only 10 minutes remaining. So I have another chapter. These are the deep studies, brain-machine interfacing and in haptics, and I cannot read this actually, proprioception and touch interface. We just call haptics and this restoring active memory RAM and the subnets, so system-based neurotechnology for emerging therapies. These are the more deep studies, and this is the chapter 2, neurorobotics. So what is neurorobotics? That is nothing but a combination of neuroscience and robotics together. So these are the major research areas or the emerging trends coming under neurorobotics. So prosthetic arms or prosthetics, more specifically neuroprosthetics. So artificial organs. Organs means not inside organs like kidneys or hearts. The artificial limbs, we call the artificial arms kind of things. Okay, arms or legs. What we call the prosthetics, the normal things. Once that is automated, or once we combine the knowledge of neuroscience and robotics into that, the prosthetics, that will become neuroprosthetics. And exoskeletons or power suits. So sub research domains coming under that, human performance modification and augmentation of or simulation of human performance. The exoskeletons or power suits, so kind of additional support given for human body. Rehabilitation robotics, kind of physiotherapies, assistance for physiotherapists, kind of reactivation or recovery of physical failures, kind of exercises can be given using these equipment. So I will show you the what we call the diagrams and the pictures. And these haptics, another emerging trend are these 3D touch, try to communicate or try to understand the world using to have the 3D touch, having a 3D touch or sensation given for prosthetic arms. For an example, a typical prosthetic arm or artificial hand, robotic arm doesn't sense anything if it touch or when it tries to grab something, touch something, a 3D object in the space, that doesn't sense. So with this technology, with haptics, researchers or scientists are going to give some kind of feedback, some kind of again give some the skin-like sensation. touch sensors for the robotic arms. And we can use the neurorobotic models for to understand the how the mental and physical disorders behave, and what is the connectivity between or the interdependence between the some psychological disorders and the physical disorders. Especially motor control. Motor control means the hands and legs control mechanism. We have the biological mechanism. So if any malfunctioning occurs, so for the further studies, we can use these neurorobotic models. And automotive optimizations, that means to develop better semi-automatic automobiles or vehicles. For that also we need this subject called neurorobotics. And there are special projects going on, like human brain project with neurorobotic platform, to understand how these mental, how our brain and how our motor control mechanism, how our manipulation of hands and legs are happening with how that is synchronized. See how that is how our motor control mechanism is synchronized with our brain functions. So without understanding that one, it will be difficult to develop some therapy. So recovery strategies, so what we call the medicine, designing these maybe physiotherapy exercises or whatever. So this is the classic application of neurorobotics, what we call the prosthetics or prosthetic arms. The correct technical terms is neuroprosthetics, because the prosthetics means even without using motors and these sensors, you can have prosthetics or artificial limbs. But once that the technology is integrated with neuroscience and robotics, that will become neuroprosthetics or artificial limbs. So this is a classic example. I'm not going to explain since I'm having only 4 minutes remaining. Exoskeletons means kind of power suits to give assistance for the elderly people or physically disabled people, but not only for elderly people or disabled people, but also you can provide give some extra strength for the laborers, those who are doing manual labor, like who are supposed to lift or hold a huge weight like 100 kilograms. So we can save his backbone. That means we can give some additional support. So we can prevent him from getting affected from these backbone diseases, backbone pains like that. Rehabilitation robotics, that means we can give some assistance for physiotherapists to design more sophisticated movement therapies and chronic assistance. So to fast recovery or improve the mobility or the functions of partially disabled organs, so we can use this technology called rehabilitation robotics. And this is what we call the haptics or these 3D touch technology. So this is from one hand, from one view. This is a kind of a communication technology, or else this is giving the sensation for the artificial limb. So what we call the prosthetic arms. So with this impressive technology, so a robot or a person, a human being who got a replacement with an artificial or prosthetic arm, that he still can have the same sensation or same feeling that is experienced by a normal person who touch a surface or touch a 3D object. Maybe even whether the surface is rough or smooth, or that sensation can be generated. And these are the biological models, or the models, neurorobotic models are used for disorder recovery, or what we call in medical domain. So researchers have developed neurological to model neurorobotic models for understanding the neurological disorders and like Parkinson's disease, these HD and these OCD and these SPN and schizophrenia, like it's a psychological disorder, and autism, ASD, like autism related diseases. So, and more researchers are going on combining the neurorobotics with neuromodularity. So understand the how the signals are affecting the neuromodularity, that we see how the signals are being originated and being shared among the neural networks and other things, and how the mind control machines are being developed. For an example, the simulations for the driving training program. So the Nissan Motor Company now recently introduced this brainwave project for design better control systems. For an example, to speed up the reaction time of the drivers. So they are studying how the thinking pattern is being changed while driving. So they will use this recorded information or EEG data to develop better responsive systems. So fast responsive systems with accurate auto braking, accurate traction control systems, accurate acceleration, fuel control, and effective and fast throttle response systems, and these approaches are now emerging. And these are the trending studies: wearable robots like power suits, sensory motor interfaces, augmentation or simulation, rehabilitation robotics, and generative models for active vision, and embodied cognition or inactive robotics, and cognitive robotics, inactive perception and learning. These are the keywords that, if you are really interested in further study, you can use these keywords. And here's a recent project by the Human Brain, these eBrains company. They want to learn how the brain and body models work together. So that means how the motor control mechanisms, biological or natural motor control mechanisms are synchronized. How they are synchronized to the brain. And without understanding this, without having this deep understanding, people will be, the researchers or the therapists will face great difficulties of designing these physiotherapy exercises and some recovery strategies. And finally, this is the expectation. So by combining or having a blend of all these advanced technologies, brain-machine interfacing, mind uploading, brain simulation, or digital twin, cognitive robotics, or what we call cognitive psychology, neurorobotics, haptics. Once we combine all the things, finally we will be able to create kind of a artificial life or kind of an avatar. Okay, that means you can have an exact copy of yourself, which can function or act like a human being, think like a human, act like a human, and finally understand and sense the world, and feel the world, and imagine the world, and have dreams, everything. You can create kind of a clone. That means not a genetic clone, kind of a spiritual or psychological clone of yours, your brain clone. Okay. And these possible ethical issues, privacy issues, or security issues can be there in future. And forced advertising, you can see kind of in future, once we wear so many devices, that will be funny. Okay, that will be like a kind of a nonsense. And the problems will begin once somebody or the government implant some chip inside your brain. So they will access your private information, confidential information, the government and the authorities. And sometimes if a malicious party capture or have unauthorized access to your system, which is implanted with your chip implant placed inside your brain, they may steal your sensitive information like your passwords, or sometimes they will influence you to do what they want. For an example, the forced advertising, that means they will influence you to buy something. Okay, so these are the possible issues which may incur as a result of technological advancement. But we cannot stop doing research for the technological advancements, because that is our duty as a researcher and a scientist. That is my ultimate duty. Therefore, although we perceive some, we identify or recognize some issues, possible issues, but we cannot stop doing, we cannot stop the research. So with that, I'm going to wind up the session. I assume you all have enjoyed my explaining and my views. How was that? Can I have kind of feedback, or shall we have a kind of open discussion? So what's your plan? Let me know. And thank you very much for your valuable time. I think I did justice, or I did my best for you. And I think I have utilized your time in a useful manner. Okay. Okay, thank you. You can give the feedback to me using this email address. Okay, or you can contact directly me through your academics, senior academics. They have my contact number. Or if you want to arrange more sessions in future, you can keep contacts with me. Or if you plan to do your research or your postgraduate, so I can be your research supervisor if you are doing research in this discipline, this area. So I can be one of your supervisors, or I can assist you by providing my knowledge. So thank you very much again, and if you have any problems, you can raise your hand.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can post to sir now through chat box or oral.
Thank you, sir. The session was very informative and was very helpful, and it was mind-opening that so many things are happening in the field of AI. Thank you so much, sir. And yeah, my question is about EEG, encephalography processing, and which AI technique and which language that would help in better processing of EEG?
EEG, so that is nothing about the language. You can use any language. So in my case, I have used Java. Most people I have seen use in some other languages. So that is entirely depending about the algorithm, the classification algorithm. So you can use what we call neural network-like technologies, like artificial neural networks, especially convolutional neural networks, so support vector machines. So you can use MATLAB-like tools. There are so many emulation tools. In my case, I have used MATLAB. So for simulations or emulations, so basic signal processing, I have used MATLAB. And you can use RStudio-like facilities to analyze the patterns. And for the pattern recognition, of course, we have used AI pattern recognition, what we call algorithms like machine learning algorithms specifically. So in my PhD, I have used multi-agent technologies for these signal pattern recognition and classification of intentions or the thoughts. There are certain recognized what we call waveform patterns like mu rhythm or P300 like patterns. That means the signaling patterns. Other than that, you can use what we call these machine learning algorithms for the classification purpose or the pattern recognition purpose. Okay, somebody.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
The link is not working, so could you please take some action? The feedback link seems it doesn't leak. Okay. I think you got new. Any other questions?
Sir, is there any significance while we retrieve information like left brain, right brain? Any significance or difference with that, sir?
Yeah, sure. So so the left brain, there are left brain people as well as right brain people. Left brain people. So that means as I remember, left brain people are more capable, more interested in scientific research. They are that means they are good. They have good analytical thinking, and they are fast learners, and they are good in language studies, and they are good analyzers, and they can analyze the things, and they are more logical and they are more rational. As well as the right brain people, they are more aesthetic, they are more artistic people, and they are more that means they can contribute for music or any aesthetic subjects like that. There are variations. So once you record the EEG recordings, you see this significant difference. Once you record their EEG from a left brain person like a researcher or scientist or mathematician, that is totally different from that means the brainwave patterns are different from the brainwave patterns that you are recording from a right brain person. For an example, my wife is a musician. So once I compare the brainwaves recorded from myself and from her, there's a significant difference. That means the brainwaves are often subjective. That means you cannot develop kind of a universal system, universal brainwave interface that will be used by different people. That means always the model has to be trained to the person who is going to use the brain computer interface or the brain interface. Okay? So there's a difference. Different people, that means left brain people, their thinking pattern, their abilities, their logical or reasoning abilities, their understanding, their logical thinking, their aesthetic capacities, those are different from the right brain. But that doesn't mean left brain people are more intelligent or having more IQ. There's nothing like that. The left brain people and right brain people are both are that means they both have their unique abilities and capacities. Okay, I think I have replied.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, good morning.
Morning.
Sir, we know in EEG technique, placing an electrode in the scalp, which region can be find optimal region, sir?
So that is given by once you buy an EEG headset. For an example, if you buy from an EEG headset from Emotive, a company called Emotive, so there are 14 electrodes. There are 14 electrodes. These are the electrode positions. So these are the positions. So they select AF, area frontal, C, that means central, and like PZ, like the PZ is responsible for recognizing the body balance. That means, for an example, if you are sitting on a chair and if you lift your legs, that means the brain used to think that your stability is going to lose. You are going to lose your stability. By that time, the signals coming from PZ will be significantly will go high. That will be activated, something like that. Okay, AF, that means the area frontal AF4, AF3, these are for high level cognitive tasks. And F is for something like understanding vision related things. If C, I cannot say exactly which one is more significant, but if you refer the device configuration, the device product description of the this EEG headset provider, like Emotive, so they have selected the most significant positions carefully. They have done research now, so they have selected the that depends what you want to capture also. That means if you want to measure the high level cognitive task, if you want to capture the imaginary thinking, if you want to capture the vision related thing or say any other sensation related thing, or check the body balance, or that is that depends on your requirement as well. That means if you want to measure something, measure the regional brain activity, that means you can carefully place you can select the scalp position. So I recommend you to what you call refer the device configuration or the manufacturer's product details, because they have gone for the better positions. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sir, one question. Do we need strong mathematical background to expertise in this area, sir?
I recommend if you have strong mathematical background, that will be easy to understand, because mathematical models like Fourier transformation is a not a mathematical model, that is a technique used in signal processing. But that was a kind of a fundamental requirement when I was doing my PhD, because for the better understanding how these signals behave, and once it comes to the customized what we call the sophisticated level of signal processing or noise removal and outlier removal and transformations. Transformation means so we find the brain waves in kind of a blended form. That means these alpha, beta, gamma, these all waveforms are blended, mixed together. If you want to get separated, you want to apply kind of mathematical algorithms like Fourier transformation. Okay, and if you want to classify these and recognize these what we call the waveforms of the brain wave signals, then also you need to apply AI machine learning techniques. So there are so many tools like MATLAB that you can, third-party tools that you can use for this purpose, even without having deep understanding. There are tools people have developed. You can directly use them even without knowing the deep part of the mathematics. That is possible because my students are doing. But the thing is, that will be a kind of a additional benefit if you have a good mathematical background. Don't worry, if you really want to continue with this research discipline, still you can do. But better if you have kind of a sound knowledge in higher mathematics and biology as well. Don't worry, still there's an opportunity. Still you can continue if you have strong determination. Okay, good luck.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Very informative session, sir.
Yeah, sure. You
Sir,
can,
excuse me, sir.
okay.
Yeah, sir. Sir, for classification problems, say for example, classification task by human eyes can be how can it be converted into data that can be given to, say for example, a generative adversarial network? Because the waves that we get from the brains are in forms of waves, right? That is how we analyze it. How can how can it be converted into data that can be given to a neural network, artificial neural network?
So for an example, I take the example. In my case, I had to simulate the functionality of the mouse. Okay, mouse. So what are the key functionalities? Click, right click, move left, move right, move up, move down, scroll down and scroll up. Something I have selected about 8 output labels or classes. Okay. So
Mm.
I have the intention recording. Okay, the waveform. Then waveform I have I have extracted them into alpha, beta, gamma, like what we call subspectrums. Those are called frequency spectrums. Then I have to analyze them and extract the patterns, like mu rhythm like patterns. So whether a certain pattern is meshed to, those are called feature extraction, meshed to a feature that we are expecting. Let the machine learning algorithm itself to determine which features are significant and which features need to be dropped. Okay, so that will happen automatically. Even you don't understand what's happening there beyond the algorithmic level or the backend running. That means on the behind the scene or the screen of the machine learning algorithm or the training session. Don't worry. Let them decide what features need to be selected. Finally, you have to define the number of output clusters or the number of distinct outputs you need to have. Okay, so we can have more technical session if you need really this information. So I can provide you more details in near future. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes. I hope this is this week we are going to the Patrana is the last speaker in this 1 week international series of webinar. But more number of question posted, Patrana.
Yeah,
You
sure.
only the guest speaker receiving more questions. I am very much happy because the participants are more interested on your topic and as well as they try to understand more.
Yeah, sure.
So especially that AI ML area is now emerging trends in computer science. Most of the students also posting questions. I hope I recall my school days or college days. One of the last question. No, I am not strong in mathematics. Can I go for research kind of thing?
Sure.
As you explained very clearly, I observed that I was in a Synapsys meeting. I completed that one very quickly at 10:45 itself, and again I joined your meeting.
Okay.
That time you are answering questions of our participants. It was very interesting one. I'm very happy about your presentation, and also you give assurance if more number of people interested, we will conduct one more session also.
Okay.
In turn, we will have your availability and other schedules, exam schedules. We will have another meeting also, Patrana. Thank you, Patrana.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your giving me this opportunity.
Okay, Udil madam.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Temya ma'am.
Yeah.
You can continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It was a very nice, informative presentation, sir. Thank you so much. We were able to understand the basics of brain-machine interfacing and also about neurorobotics, sir. You gave a very clear picture of the significance of various EEG data classification algorithms and the emerging trends in BMI and its role in social media and other applications. We understood also in the research point of view about this topic, sir. Thank you so much. We have got a deep insight into BMI and you have now uploaded our minds with BMI. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this golden opportunity, and wish to collaborate with you and supervise your research projects and give my contribution, give my fullest support to develop your institute from the knowledge point of view. Okay.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much. Okay.
Thank you, sir. We will contact you in future also, sir.
Okay,
You are
sure.
always welcome. Okay. Thank you, sir, and the participants. At this moment, I would like to thank our management, chairman, sir, co-chairman, then director, and our dean, HOD, sir, is a very motivator and guidance given for us, and he motivated us to conduct this international webinar series in a great success moment. And also the speakers of all 5 days. Like the first day, we had Dr. Adarsh Kumar Pandey from Sunway University, Malaysia. And the second day, Professor Marianne from Davao del North State College, Philippines. And the third day, we had Dr. Mohd Hilmi Hassan from University Technology Petronas, Malaysia. And the fourth day, we had Dr. Philippe from Paris Est Créteil University, France. And today, we had Dr. Patirana from Yuva Velasas University, Sri Lanka. So thank you for all the eminent speakers for making this date, that is the 5 days in a great success moment, and for all the participants to attend this webinar series and made it as a great success. Once again, I thank all the participants and eminent speakers and our management and our HOD, sir. Thank you all. And finally, I would like to thank my colleagues and coordinators of this event, Dr. Ramya, Dr. Gauri, Mr. Arun Kumar, and Mr. Prabhu, to support me to conduct this event in a great success. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Ma'am, couldn't fill the feedback form, ma'am, from the mobile. Can you send again?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. The chat box, you can check it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And please send me the recording meeting. That means the.
Yeah, sure, sir. I'll send to you through mail.
Then shall I leave the meeting?
Yeah, thank you, sir.